Right then, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stephen Howson. This is 5 Things We Learned Watching Manchester United go and get a win for the first time in a decade at Anfield. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you're not new, then make sure you hit the like and leave a comment. I want to know what you guys think once you get to the end of this video. Right then, first thing we're going to be talking about then is Matheus Cunha. Now, there was no goal and there was no assist, but anybody watching football that understands football can see exactly what Matheus Cunha brings to Manchester United. Technically, phenomenal, like a joy to watch, really confident under pressure. I loved the sort of dark arts that we were getting out of him late in the game. I thought that was real intelligent sort of game management. He's got the ability to take players out of the game with a drop of a shoulder or a disguised pass. He was one that was getting his head up and he was looking left and right, finding people in acres of space. And I believe, despite not getting a goal or an assist, he was genuinely one of the reasons that we won. I thought he constantly relieved pressure from us. He linked the transitions well. He carried the ball up the pitch. He's a maverick. He's the sort of player that doesn't do things that you're expecting from them. Football is played a lot of the time in a rhythm. People pass. Like, you know, if it goes to the left side centre-half, he's either going to go to the left back or he's going to go to the centre-half. Like, you kind of know the rhythm of the game. I think Cunha plays it in a different rhythm, and I like that about him. I think it's the sort of thing that you absolutely can't coach, and the goals will come from him. But I think, well, the most important thing, probably more important than him getting goals, is he's a footballer that's unpredictable. He's full of invention, and he's brave, and there isn't enough of them in today's game at all. I think if there was more people like Cunha, football would be a lot more enjoyable, a bit like it was back in the day. This isn't just another pretty face. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is built to handle your most sensitive areas with care, helping reduce the risk of nicks, cuts, and irritation where it matters the most. Whether you're cleaning things up for a date, a trip, or just to feel a little bit more put together, the white hot trimmer makes below-the-waist grooming a whole lot smoother, with a clean white and gold finish that looks just as good as it shaves. Join over 12 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and use the code Howson, that's Howson, for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. Nobody enjoys the sting of a slip-up mid-trim, and that is why Manscaped's skin-safe technology was developed to help you groom with more confidence and fewer mishaps. The blades are designed to glide over the skin with less tug and pull, helping you avoid the usual redness or irritation that comes with lower quality trimmers. It is simple, it is effective, and it doesn't require a whole routine. Just pick it up, clean what you need, and move on with your life. Whether you're using it in the shower, on the go, or standing over the sink just before a night out, the White Hot 5.0 Ultra fits in your day without getting in the way. Plus, the white and gold design actually looks good, so you won't be hiding it in the bottom drawer anymore. White hot looks, smooth results. The White Hot 5.0 Ultra brings the heat without cooking your skin. It is sleek, it is easy to use, and it's way less terrifying than whatever it was you was doing before. Use the code Howson, that is Howson, for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. That's 15% off with the code Howson at manscaped.com. Stay cool, stay smooth, and leave the burns to the sun. Number 2, Bruno Fernandes. I thought he wasn't his imposing self with the ball, but without the ball, he was all action. The commitment was there. I think Anfield tends to try and bring something out of Bruno, and sometimes it can boil over, and sometimes it can simmer just about right. Now, he was everywhere. You know, he set the tone, he was rallying teammates, he was pressing in the right moments, he was probably pressing a little bit excitable in the first half, and that probably caused him to tire in the second half, and it showed with a couple of looser passes, but by then he'd already left his mark on the game. He assists the winning goal. This is what Bruno does, and this is why you want him higher up the pitch where he can make an impact, because he does have match-winning ability, and he got the match-winning assist. You know, he created 3 chances in a game where United didn't actually create a whole lot of chances. And he managed the tempo relatively well when United did have the ball. There was moments of and sequences of passes where United genuinely moved it from left to right, up, down, back, all over the pitch, and Liverpool couldn't get a sniff of it. And Bruno was involved in that. latterly in the game, it did get a little bit more frantic, and the last 10 minutes or so genuinely looked like a football's take on basketball. But I thought Bruno had a really, really strong game. And leadership isn't always about delivering bollockings, but delivering in the big moments and leading by example. And I think that's one thing that Bruno Fernandes never gets credit for, and I think he deserves a little bit of credit for that. Number 3, I might do a video on Lammens this week, just entirely on Lammens, because if there was any doubts, they have gone completely. He went to Anfield, he was under siege, he made massive match-winning saves and looked completely unruffled by it. He had 5 saves, 2 high claims, 1.25 goals prevented. They're elite numbers. His kicking is a weapon. He's got left and right foot ability. He generates such easy power that he don't even look like he's straining to send a 60, 70 yard pass. That gets us up the pitch quickly. We haven't seen us trying to play out with him, which I find very, very interesting. In both the games that he's played, we've elected to go long. And even though I thought going long early in the game was just us inviting it to be headed to Van Dijk, at least at the start, I'm now beginning to wonder if it was a tactic to draw him out of the line a little bit. I like it. Fundamentally, he's sound. He is confident. He is commanding. He's an absolute upgrade on the 2 other keepers that have been playing for us recently. Clearly, he's no Tom Heaton, but nobody is. But I do like what I saw at Anfield, and I think the confidence he will get. I came away thinking his performance was so good he actually kept a clean sheet. Like, I nearly said that in my review last night, and I was like, 2 clean sheets for the keeper, and I was like, actually, no one. But it felt like it. Do you know what? Can we give him an honorary clean sheet? Do you know, like when Jose refused to acknowledge that he drawn a game, or refused to acknowledge a game that he lost, and he says he drew it. I'm going to do the same thing with Lammens. I'm going to call it 2 clean sheets, okay? Because I thought the performance deserved 2 clean sheets, so he gets an asterisk clean sheet for that performance from me yesterday. And if you disagree, I don't care. How about that? Number 4, Ahmad. I thought Ahmad was one of our best players in the first half. That's what the wing-back system allows you to do. It allows you to have an extra defender, and I thought he was putting in a real shift defensively. And then he's just this extra attacker, particularly against a team that's going to push forward with the numbers that Liverpool do. He was a constant threat. He was constant work, and he linked with Mbuemo on that right-hand side sensationally. He gets an assist for the opener. He was tracking back relentlessly. That's all you want out of a wide forward or a wide fullback in this system. If there was any critics, they got answered yesterday. It had been relatively stop-start for him. At times, he looked like he was frustrated with the role that he's doing, especially I thought at Sunderland last week. But the talent is undeniable with him. You can't teach the things that he's got: the touch, the vision, the willingness to engage in duels and to battle. That's an attitude thing, and he's always had that. You know, he's building something special down that right hand side with Mbuemo, and there's always a place in the modern game for people with the technical ability that Ahmad has got. And finally, what does this mean for Ruben Amorim? This could be the win that changes the conversation. No more can you reference the fact that you've not won back-to-back games. Manchester United have played basically the entire top 4 from last season, and we've lost 2 and we've won 2. It's probably about right for where you would presume we are amongst that team, amongst that group of teams at the moment. Anfield is a real test of character as much as it is tactics, and I thought United had both of them correct yesterday. And for the first time away from home this season, the 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3, or you could argue it was even a 3-5-2 at times yesterday, looked like a system. It was compact without being passive. It was pretty solid in the transitions. There was still a couple of moments where there was a big gap in the centre, but we dealt with it. He did trust in some of his youngsters, Lammens mainly, not so much with the likes of Dorgu, Yoro and Mainoo. He adjusted the structure in the middle of the game, and he managed that last 10 minutes absolutely perfectly. No, we are now a win away from being in top 4. Yes, there's other games and teams and blah, 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 but ultimately we're 3 points away from being in top 4. And we're only 6 points away from the top. You know, that is really good for the mood and the crisis that has existed around Manchester United. You're a Bruno Fernandes penalty away from being in the top 4 right now. How about that? You know, we're not as far away as maybe we feel like we are. And maybe that's a little bit to do with the media. But suddenly, on the back of that win, there is hope. And it's no more than hope at the moment because we've not proven it. I think to really start to turn the corner requires more wins. And I think Brighton on Saturday is an excellent opportunity. That is a winnable game for Manchester United. And I think if you win that, the hope starts to turn to confidence. You put Nottingham Forest aside and confidence starts to turn to consistency. And then you go into that Tottenham game with confidence, with consistency, and my mate can get his hair cut. If you finally get that over the line. But just as quickly as you can go from, wow. And by the way, if you did win all of those games between now and the Spurs games, only 3 matches, if you did do that and racked up 5 consecutive wins, I think you're comfortably inside the top 4. And I think the expectation of like a top 9, top 8 finish that we were all thinking maybe we would take that at the moment this season, that suddenly looks like actually we could finish inside the top 6 here. And maybe even if they could bring somebody in January and we push for top 4. And that would feel like progress. But maybe I'm getting giddy. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know. And I'm not going to apologize for it because right now we've been so down, so dire, so bad to watch. I'm just going to revel in a little bit of delusion, if you don't mind. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. And I do mean that. Thank you guys for watching. Hit subscribe if you are new around here. I'd love to see you again. Please get involved in the comments. I do read every single comment that people write. And I try to reply to as many as I can. And if you can't be asked writing a comment, then drop it a like. All right? Nice one. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.